there! Today I'll be reacting to a very interesting video. This is things that fascinate me about Finnish homes in Finland, or just homes in Finland, that's just the flag. Asumisoikeusasunto edition. Okay, this is pretty cool. This is from the channel Finlandia Diaries. You know her, we already checked out her videos. She's an American, married to a Finn guy. They have 2 or 3 kids, I don't remember the exact number. She mentioned that in another video. And yeah, she makes these interesting videos about Finland. I really enjoyed her shopping in Lidl with the husband. And the other video where she showed the Easter traditions in Finland. So guys, I just woke up. I'm having my first coffee of the day, so I'm still trying to function. You gotta forgive me. Let's check out the video. Let's go.
In this video, I'm going to be talking about some things that fascinate me about living in Finland. Hey there, if we've never met before, my name is Shirley, and I live in Finland
Shirley.
with my husband and our 2 small kids.
Oh, so 2, you see, I was right.
Home, and I'm going to show you room by room some things that I just really adore about living in Finland.
How much you wanna bet that the wait, okay. Let's start taking bets. There will be for sure the cheese slicer. Okay, that one always get everyone else. Come on, I mean it's the coolest thing ever. Then there will be the drawer that also is a cutter, a cutting board. Then I don't know. Oh, the thing on top, you know, to drain the plates. Yeah, I think those for sure. Then we're gonna see what else it's interesting about homes in Finland.
The first thing is that when you open the front door, there's often a second door here. I'll turn on the light here. This is to keep out the noise and also the cold during the winter months. And I am taking off my shoes here because nobody wears their outdoor shoes in Finland. Winters here can be extremely long and also snowy, so nobody wants to bring the outside
makes sense,
into
makes
their
sense.
home. Let's go on in. When we first come in through the door,
really nice.
To the left is our kitchen. Okay, let me take off my jacket because it's warm in here. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you might notice that I sound a little bit funny. I have been fighting off this nasty cold for over a week now, so I still sound a little bit nasally, so I apologize. Before we go into the kitchen, I did want to talk about keys in Finland. Okay, these are obviously not the real keys, they're toy keys, but there's something called a universal key. This key not only opens up our front door, but it also opens up the garbage area, and it also opens up our cold storage as well as our mailbox, which I will show you a little bit later on in the video. So
I don't think we have that in Italy.
For different areas, you just have one key. It can be made to fit into different things, but also have it be unique that it opens up your front door. First thing I wanted to point out are the appliances. The appliances are a little bit smaller and a little bit narrower than what I am used to in the US. So for instance, here we have the stove. The oven is much smaller. My hand for reference here.
Yeah, I used to have one like that too. Then I don't know, it's not working anymore. I had to buy a separate one.
The oven is much smaller than what I'm used to in the States, and it's not very common to have open flame stove, so we have an electric stove. But funny enough, the dishwasher seems to be like...
Actually, it's very similar to my kitchen as well, the stove, you know? The one that I have in my kitchen, but only the upper part works. This part here just stopped work suddenly.
A little bit wider than the stove for some reason. And then if you look over here, this is our fridge. We have 2 fridges because we live in a slightly larger row house with 4 bedrooms. So they provide you with 2 fridges.
Oh, 4 bedrooms.
Normally you would just get 1 fridge, and it's a lot narrower and just a tad taller than fridges in the US. I think fridges in the US usually stop around here. All right, now let's come on over to the sink area. You might know this or you might not know this, but usually above the sink, there's a drying rack.
Told you,
in which you can put stuff here to dry if you've hand washed things or if you have stuff that's taken.
I mean, I would say that many Italians took that from Finland, because I still remember, yeah, at my parents' place they have the same thing. I used to stay in another house for rent and I had that too. This house not, but this house is really small. It doesn't have many amenities that are very common in Italy, such as the bidet. Don't even have that, bro. What's an Italian house without a bidet?
out of the dishwasher and isn't fully dry yet, you can put them up here, and then the water will just kind of trickle down into the sink and dry. If you look up here, this shelf is also a wire rack. It's meant to be used for drying, but we just have a lot of stuff and not too much things we need to air dry. And so we kind of utilize that space for storage instead of drying. But yes, this is cool. Instead of a solid shelf, it's a drying rack so that you don't have to display your dish rack on the countertop. If we do need to use a drying rack for whatever reason, I typically also just open up the dishwasher and use this as a drying rack. I grew up in an Asian household where we never used the dishwasher. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a lot of Asian families, especially first-year immigrants, typically don't really use their dishwasher because it's not too common in their home country. And there's a myth that you use way more water in the dishwasher versus washing it by hand. So growing up...
Is that true? I think it's way cleaner when I use the dishwasher than when I wash it by hand.
We've never used a dishwasher. Even though we had a dishwasher, we never used it. We just used it for
At least in
drying.
my case.
So there's a hack for you if you ever need more drying space. All right, let's come back to the sink now.
I've seen some videos, you know, on the internet about Asian people in their household putting like using the dishwasher as a place where to stack like the pots, the pans and whatever. My dishwasher, by the way, is broken too. I mean, it still works, but the upper part just fell off. So I just use it to wash like, I don't know, forks, knives, glasses, stuff like that. Oh my God. I need to change house. I'm here renting. I mean, it's really cheap compared to others, but yeah, I should find a better place to live.
Not very common to have sponges. So this is actually a Scotch sponge that we brought over from the US because we had a huge Costco-sized pack of it and I just brought it over with us. I cut it in half just so that it's easier in my hand.
I was wondering why it's so small.
Washing dishes. But in terms of living in Finland, a lot of people here in Finland don't really have this sponge here to clean their dishes. What's more popular here are these brushes. So they would just brush their dish with the brush. As you can see, there's a little hook on the end. And then since most people have this drying rack, they just hang it here and just let it dry.
That's so
I think it's a lot more sanitary that way because sponges can harbor a lot of bacteria. I think this is maybe just like a more hygienic version of it. But what they do have are these Swedish washcloths. I think that's what we call them in the US, but they're like a spongy towel. And you can use this to clean dishes. You can use it to wipe counters and whatnot.
Yeah, I just use it to clean everywhere else. Never the dishes with that one.
I usually leave it here to dry. What's also really common in Finnish kitchens is this cutting board here that's disguised as a drawer.
Told you.
It's a cutting board. I don't like it because I find it hard to clean. I guess it's fine if you're cutting bread, but if you're cutting like meat and stuff, I don't find it very useful. And then also there's oftentimes a hidden cutting board up here. So maybe some people use the top for a different thing than the bottom. I don't know. Again, we don't really use these cutting boards. We just use it for storage because we have enough cutting boards here. And that's, I think, grease from a salmon. Finns drink a lot of coffee, so you'll often see lots of coffee makers in everybody's homes. I think Finland drinks the most coffee per capita out of any country in the world. And it's often very popular to drink coffee in Moomin mugs. So this is our Moomin mug.
Wow, they have lots of them.
That I picked up last year. Moomins are these hippo
I want
characters,
one.
but they're trolls, and they were created by a woman named Tu.
Actually, nowadays, Moomin is starting to become really popular in Italy as well.
Jonsen, about 80 years ago, actually exactly 80 years ago this year, they are seen in comic books, comic strips, children's books, and stuff like that. It's a very, very popular character or series of characters here in Finland. You will not find a kitchen in Finland without a Moomin. Very important part of Finnish kitchens. Usually above the range, this cabinet here is for spices. This cabinet doesn't really go all the way back.
Oh my God. Is this because she comes from the US that they like food with lots of spices, you know, they like more flavorful? Or is it a thing in Finland that you use all the spices? Oh my God. I don't really use that many spices. I would say I just use pepper and salt. That's it.
It's like very shallow, and then you would just display your spices here.
That's
Instead
so
of a
many.
spice drawer, we have this spice shelf here, right above the range. All right, so that's everything I wanted to cover in the kitchen. Now let's move on over to the bathroom. Here is a look at our bathroom. The floors in our bathroom are actually heated. We have them turned off because it's spring right now. We don't really need it, but there's a little dial here in which you can turn up how hot or how warm you want the floor to be. That's a really cool feature. And then as we walk in, you will see that we have our washer and dryer here in the bathroom. It's very common to have these in the bathroom instead of in a separate room. And dryers are not too common in Finland. Most people just have a washer. This up here, which controls the air filtration system in the house. So we didn't have enough room to stack the dryer on top of the washer. So we actually had to remove this whole cabinet to make room for our beloved dryer. I can't live without a dryer because I'm just so used to using them in the US. But a lot of Finns here in Finland don't have dryers. It's better for the environment. It's better for your clothes. It's also more budget friendly because you don't have to pay for all the electricity. We do also have one of these drying racks. Our dryer sensor, for some reason, doesn't really dry our clothes completely. So instead of running it through another short cycle, I just kind of...
But I feel like you should put it outside, no? Like, yes, especially like in winter time, I will be putting out the clothes the whole day. But of course, it's gonna be cold, so they're not really they're not really drying. But at least they're absorbing a little bit. And then at night, I will just put it inside, and they will get dry with the heat and everything. But just keep it inside. I don't know if it's too. I don't know. They will smell a little weird, no?
Kind of hang it out here. Most people will have these on a balcony or just somewhere by the window so that the sun can dry their laundry. All right, let's go back to the bathroom. Okay, so the paneling that you see in the ceiling, if I reach out my hand, I can actually touch this. There's a lot of electrical things and plumbing and stuff hidden. So if they ever need to do any work up there, they just open up these panels instead of opening up a ceiling, which makes it very convenient. So in a lot of bathrooms in Finland, you will see this paneling up in the ceiling and sometimes also in the kitchen too. It just depends on how everything is set up in the house. And then if we walk a little bit closer to the sink here, you can see that there's pipes running outside of the wall. That's also very common. It just makes more sense, you know, if there's ever a leak, you can just see it right away instead of waiting for your wall to rot. So I find that fascinating. It doesn't really bother me. It doesn't look as nice as, you know, having pipes behind the wall, but I think it's more important to catch a leaky pipe faster than having, you know, a nice wall with no piping. Now let's talk about the toilet. The toilet here in Finland usually have two different settings. As you can see, there's a little like, I don't know, a groove here. This one is a little bit smaller. This one is a little bit larger. You can control the amount of water that flows through your toilet. So if you're going number one, you can use this side. And if you're going number two, you can use this side. Most toilets will have this, but some might be round, some might be different shape, but usually there are two options. And if you look besides the toilet, there's a little bidet.
Yes, I have one like this, but it's so, I don't know. Because I don't have a bidet, so I have this, but the one that I have is, this one looks way better. This one looks way better, because the one that I have is, yeah, and it takes a long time before the water becomes hot, so it's not really convenient.
And how this works is that you turn on the sink here, and then you can clean yourself that way. I personally don't really use this. I use this to clean the sink more often than using it to clean my bottom, but it's there.
Yeah, I don't think it's too convenient, right?
Oh, towels.
Because if you don't even control well the power of it, you will just get so wet. It happened to me, especially when I was drunk.
So there are not a lot of towel bars in which it goes like this and you hang your towel. It's more common here to hang your towel by the sewn labels is what this is called. It's a label that's sewn onto the side of all textiles, and you just hang your towels like that. It saves a lot of space. You can see here's a larger bath towel here that we have hanging. I think it's safe to say that all towels purchased in Finland will have this loop here so that you can hang all your towels.
Oh,
And up here, that's a vent.
That's pretty convenient.
Okay, let's move on to our shower area. It's a little bit dark here. There's no light up here for whatever reason, so we have a clear shower curtain so that we can see in here. We have a big floor drain in the middle of the bathroom, so it's very easy to clean, and when you're taking a shower, you know, the floor is a little bit slanted towards the drain so that the water just goes down the drain. And then what we have here is a large squeegee that you can kind of just like guide the water into the drain if you need to. So this is a floor squeegee that's found in almost all Finnish homes as well. In the shower area, you might notice that we don't have a bathtub. We have a small bathtub for our kids to bathe in. It's not too common to find a bathtub in Finland. It's not impossible to find a bathtub, but it's just not very common. Most people have showers.
Not a fan of
floor drain.
bathtubs.
We don't have bathtubs, but what we do have...
I do have a bathtub, but it's very small, so you can't really lie down. You can just sit down on it, but I don't know. It's more convenient to have a shower to me.
Over here is a sauna. So this sauna is actually much bigger.
Yksi, kaksi, kolme.
Our last one, as you can see, and we have a nice window there. This is an electric sauna, and we can fit our whole family of 4 in here, which is really nice. So to turn this on, you would just turn the knob on the right, and then here is the temperature. We have it set to max because my husband really likes the sauna to be hot. So this is an electric stove.
Yes, the Lulu part.
Stove. There are like electric coils that run inside that turn red and turn on, and it gets very hot, and we have some rocks on top so that we can throw water on top of the sauna when it's warm so that it doesn't get too dry in here. When you throw water on here, you get a lot of moisture dispersed into the air, and it just makes the sauna feel a lot better. Let's see, we also have a vent up there. An event there. We definitely don't live in a fancy house. Having a sauna in your apartment or in your house is very, very common. It's not something that the wealthy people have. Not all apartment buildings will have saunas. If your apartment doesn't have a personal sauna in your bathroom, you might very well be able to find one in your basement in which you can pay a small fee to use. You would just have to sign up ahead of time to use it. In our row house, we pay a flat water fee for each person that lives here. So we have 4 people that live here. Each person is 20 euros. So every month they will charge us 80 euros for our water consumption. But we just found out that they were doing a meter reading, and we had no idea where the meter is. So my husband actually called the housing company. You can open this here, and it turns out the water meter was in here. I should also mention this here. So this is a switch to turn on and off the water. You see that's on and off. You would turn this way and you would say off. It's funny that this is in English, which is great, but it's typically suggested that you leave it at off whenever you're not using.
But I feel that the on and off sign is always in English, right? For I don't know, for just convenience, right? I mean, on, off, it's just 2 or 3 letters.
The washer. I think we have these in the US too, but I don't know how common it is for people to turn it off when you're not using it. It's suggested that you turn it off every time you finish using the washer, just in case something happens to the water system. You don't burst your pipes, but we actually don't really.
I don't know if I have that thing.
We only turn it off when we're away from our house for a long period of time. But I will bring you back to the kitchen because there is also a knob in the kitchen that turns on and off. And this connects to the dishwasher. So you really are supposed to leave it at off and only turn it on when you're using the dishwasher. People in Finland, please let me know how often you turn this off. Do you turn it off every time you're not using the appliance, or do you only turn it off when you're away for a long time? I was told to turn it off when we're not using the appliance, but then the person also told me that they don't really do that. So I've just kind of left it on because I don't really remember to turn it back on when I need it. But let me know in the comments below what you guys do. If that's something that I really should be following, maybe I need to change my ways. Okay, let's head on over to our bedroom. So our bedroom is actually right next to the bathroom. So this is what our room looks like. I guess you can call this the master bedroom in our house.
Oh, this is so nice.
But it's actually not very big at all. We barely can fit a king-size bed in here. And then the cabinets kind of hit my side table. Because there's not enough room. But let's see, what should we...
I really like this house, you know. That's a very minimalistic look. I mean, they have all the amenities that you might need in modern times, but the look of it, it's very minimalistic. I love that. I love that. I don't like when there's too many stuff that are not needed.
We talk about here. Okay, you can see that there are 2 blankets on the bed. It's very common for people to have separate blankets. You have your personal blanket instead of having one large blanket to share.
I thought that was a German thing. That's very interesting. Oh, we don't have that in Italy.
Surprised me at first, but now I'm just really used to it. It's actually kind of nice because nobody tugs at your blanket. You get your very own blanket. We have a king-size bed, but if you look under the sheets here, you can see that it's actually 2 smaller mattresses pieced together. We have a mattress topper here to kind of connect the 2 mattresses, but it made moving a whole lot easier. I forgot to mention that we don't have an extra sheet beneath this, so we just have our blanket, which have a cover on it, and there's no extra sheet underneath that. In the US, we had a sheet on top of the fitted sheet and then the blanket, so that's not really.
Yeah, me too. I always do that.
Have a cover for your
Except now. Now it's too hot, so I just have a very light sheet and that's it. Yeah. I mean, it's not really hot at night, but still. At summer, I don't like to put on too many
Your
sheets.
blanket and then you have a fitted sheet and nothing else. We have a lot of storage space here in our room, which is really great, but you will likely not find an actual closet in which a door opens up to a separate tiny space in which you can walk in. It's way more common for you to have a floor to ceiling wardrobe. Okay, let's talk about our window. In my last apartment tour video, I mistakenly said that we have double pane windows, and then people commented and they said that, you know, your windows are actually triple paned. So if you open it, you will see that there's a layer of glass here, and then there are two layers here. You see how my fingers don't touch? Most windows here are triple paned because it gets very cold here during the winter, and it just keeps the cold out, and it's very nice. And I love these huge windows with no bars in between. It's just one piece of glass. And what's also very, very important in Finland to have are these blackout curtains. Because as summer approaches, you will get a lot of light, especially in the nighttime. The sun
You still get so much light like this, though. Don't you have the ones outside that you just pull down and it becomes so dark?
doesn't set until, I don't know, 11 maybe? 11:30 near midsummer.
I mean, in my house, I do have the ones outside, and then I still have the curtain to cover. I mean, I didn't have a curtain, so I just used an old blanket, you know? I turned it into a curtain.
Which is the longest day of the year. So if you're trying to put kids to bed especially, you want to make sure you have blackout curtains because they'll say, hey, there's still light outside, I'm not going to sleep. Having blackout curtains for us is a must. For some people, they don't like having blackout curtains. But yes, we have blackout curtains. Okay, this is my husband's side of the bed.
So I'm guessing that is not really common, right, in Finland? Oh my god, no, I don't like that. Oh my god. Ah, wait, how do you say it in English? Wait, let me translate. English, you say roller shutter or roll up shutter. Okay, like this. Let me show you. Roll up shutter. Is that the right way? Yeah, like this. Yeah, something like this that you put on outside. I mean, this is already very modern. I still have this one. Wait. No, okay, this one is the one. Okay, these ones are way too modern. My house is really old, I'm telling you. My god, it's so old that you can't even find it. What the hell? Vecchio stile. Let's try old style. Oh my god. Ah, wait, maybe it's... Oh yeah. Sorry. My bad. Yeah, I have it like this. I have like this that you, when you wake up in the morning, you just open them wide, and then at night you close them, and it becomes really dark. But the problem with mine, I mean, most of the times just this is enough. You don't even need curtains. But you see, you still get some light right here. Mine is a little bit different because there's a hole in the middle. Wait, let me see if I can find the same one as mine. Yeah, it's not too common. I mean, I would say that mine is really shitty. Because you see, like this is getting so dark already, like this one. But that's kind of like a circle, like a hole in the middle in both sides. So when it's so dark, but you still get the sun coming from that little space, and it was so annoying, especially me that I'm a light sleeper. So in the morning I will wake up with the sun and I don't like it. So, but putting a curtain on top of it is just perfect. It will become super dark. You will never wake up. Yeah.
Bed, he has...
Let me know. I forgot to ask you. Let me know. Is it common to have those in Finland, or you just use the curtains? Maybe you guys like to wake up earlier. I don't know.
His time set to the 24-hour clock because they run by the 24-hour clock instead of AM and PM here. Okay, let's now move on to my work area. What fascinates me about home office or offices in general is that they have different types of seating. This is my usual office chair that I use.
Okay, this looks way more comfortable than this one. This one you might not see it, but it's getting ripped in pieces. I mean, here that. Oh my god, yeah, I need to change this. The thing that I don't like too much about the computer right here is that there's only one monitor. I mean, she has the very long monitor, but I'm not a fan of it. I prefer to have two monitors because, especially making videos, I always check on the left, I have the recording program, and then on the right, I have the video where I react to. But I mean, it depends always, but I've always been used to two monitors, especially even with poker. Like sometimes you will get bored when you play poker. On the other monitor, you will have your friends typing you, and in the other one, you will have the action. Yeah, only one, or the lobby, of course. Only one is not really convenient, but of course, it always depends on what you do. I mean, if you just do office stuff, I guess that one monitor is enough, even if you're editing videos or whatever.
My husband has a saddle chair. Let me actually go ahead and go get it to show you. The height is a little bit higher than like a normal.
What is this? What the hell? Bro, this is taken from a bike. He created this. I've never seen anything like this. This is so cool. It looks like what you get from a station bike. Is that how you call it? Yeah, the one that you just sit down and then you bike without moving. And then the other one from a bike. What the hell? This is so cool.
Desk chair. It's kind of an in-between between a stool and an office chair. It's a little bit higher, and you sit on it kind of like how you would ride a horse. So he loves the saddle chair. When he moved to the US,
okay. No. It's just the perspective. Oh, I don't know. It doesn't look too comfortable though.
he actually shipped it over to the US and shipped it back when we moved back to Finland. So I think it's very common to see these types of chairs in Finland. Speaking of different types of chairs, I also have a secondary chair that I use on my desk. So let me change it.
Okay. But I think that these are the monitors, the one that, yeah, I feel like having one of these monitors kind of have two monitors. So yeah, I guess I could live with this one. Yeah, definitely.
This here is called a muista chair. So muista actually comes from a company in Lithuania based on a word that means to fidget. So you can sit on it like this to work, but then you can also rock it so that you can kind of give some relief to your hips and also to your back as you're working. And what this chair also does is that it flips this way so that it kind of also acts like a saddle chair, like the one that I just showed you for my husband. So you can also rock this way. And kids also find this really fun to play on. Now, Muista did send this chair to me for review. This video is not sponsored by them whatsoever. I just really loved having the option of having a second chair. I did try my husband's saddle chair, but it didn't work for me because I was in a vehicle accident a long time ago, maybe 10, 12 years ago, and I broke my hip. So just sitting on the saddle chair was too much pressure for my hip. So I found this chair to be very gentle on my hips, and it just gives me a sense of movement as I'm spending time in front of my computer. Now, if you want to give Muista chairs a try, they are offering my viewers a 5% discount on any chair that you choose. They also have ones where it's a little bit higher, so it's kind of like the.
How much does a chair like this cost? And it looks very nice. I mean, not to use as your principal chair, probably. I don't know, but they look pretty nice. And one thing more, if you can afford it, I did this because I used to play. I mean, I'm still playing poker. It's not like I quit, but most of the times it's just driving me crazy. It's not as good as before. But spending so much time, in front of the computer, I would do sessions in poker even like 10 or 12 hours. So what I had to get was this. Look. This is the best thing. Look. Yeah, come on. Standing chairs. Standing chairs. Standing desks are the best. If you're doing a job that you can't... because of course, if you're doing a normal remote work and you can stand up and do other chores, then it's fine. But of course, if you have played poker, you must know. You can just take and go and live there, go sit out and lose your money. Of course not. You always have to be there, present. So yeah, this was a lifesaver. I mean, come on. I could do way longer sessions without any problem. And you definitely need to stand up every 30 to 45 minutes, otherwise it will be crazy. And if you want to ask me why I don't do reaction videos standing up, it's because, I don't know. When I stand up, I have the light directly in my eyes, so it's not too convenient. But maybe in the future, probably I need a better room, because this one is too rectangular, it's not square, so I can't position the lights in the way that I want to. Maybe in the future, definitely.
Height of a stool. If you want to use it in front of a standing desk or something, that might be a better choice. But you can get 5% off of your order by using Finlandia 5.
Oh wait, she said something about standing desk. Yeah. I didn't know, and I show you my standing desk.
So it's kind of like the height of a stool. If you want to use it in front of a standing desk or something, that might be a better choice. But you can get 5% off of your order by using Finlandia 5. And if you purchase 2 or more chairs, you can get 15% off, and you can use Finlandia 15. I will leave all the links and all the codes down below as well so that you can check them out. And they do offer free shipping across all of the EU and US and Canada as well. Okay, now let's talk about our living room. I actually don't have too much to say, except that I'm very thankful to have these large windows here that looks out into our backyard. I do have...
So she does have some type of those, you know, the roller shutter.
I have to complain about these office blinds here. This is tucked in between the 3 layers of glass, and there's nothing we can do about it. We can of course open it like this we did here, but it's just a little bit annoying that they chose to have this type of blinds. It just feels like very officey, very corporate-y, but I mean, it does the job, so I can't complain. Okay, I'm sitting...
Oh my god, that's the one that I have in my living room. Come on.
My living room in front of my lovely...
It's not the best though.
Here. I guess I can mention that the living room counts as a room. So if you are online looking for different apartments or houses, the living room counts as a room. So I mentioned earlier that we have 4 bedrooms, but if you looked on the listing for this place, you'll see that this listing actually has it for 5 rooms because they count the living room as a room. I don't know why.
Yeah, of course.
They don't really...
That's very normal, right? Yeah. Very normal. I don't understand. In the US, they do everything different. I don't understand. It's normal that they count it as a room. Of course they do that. Everywhere I've been to, they count it as a room, the living room, no?
They say bedrooms, they just say rooms. So technically our house is a 5-room house. And maybe I can also mention something about the lighting here. So let me turn you around. So this is our lighting in our living room. We also have the same fixture over there. But whether you're renting an apartment or buying an apartment or house, it's very common to not have the lighting fixtures included in the deal, I guess you can say. So that's also something that we purchased from IKEA. This one has left undone. There's nothing clipped up there. So when you first move into an apartment or a house that you just bought, if you're doing some painting or cleaning or whatnot, you have to make sure you bring your own lights because the lights might not be there when you first move in. I found that to be really interesting and odd, but I guess that's also why there's no boob lights here in Finland. All right, so I think that's all I want to mention for everything that's inside of the house. Now we're going to go outside and I'll show you some amenities that comes with Finnish living. All right, the first thing I want to show you is our storage, our cold storage. So there's not really a lot of ventilation in here, which means we can't really keep anything that's fabric based. We had our stroller in here, but it quickly got moldy, even though there's an opening up there and also a vent down there. But it gets a little bit damp in here, so you can't keep anything that gets moldy very fast. But nevertheless, we have plenty of storage here. There's a cabinet that we had to take out from the bathroom. And this is also where we keep our winter tires. Tires here in Finland have studs on them for the winter, and so you often see 2 sets of tires for every household. We have 3 because we also have, I think, my mother-in-law's tires in here. Now let's take out the trash together. Garbage bins in apartment living and maybe also house living are usually hidden behind cabinets.
Oh, that's
the
so
bins
cool.
are rather small, so you just use these like regular...
This is so convenient. Oh my god. Wait, did they buy this or it already comes within the house? The thing that you just pull and then you take the trash out. I want that too. Oh my god. I usually just keep it on my balcony, the trash, because otherwise it will smell too bad. Yeah, but if I had this, I would just keep it inside, definitely. It looks more convenient, even all the bags right here.
Shopping-sized bags for garbage bags. So with our cold storage, I opened that up with the same key that opens up our front door. And now we're about to open the garbage area, which utilizes the same key. It's locked behind this gate, and I think Europeans are very specific about sorting their garbage. So what I have here is just regular household garbage, and we're going to toss it in here. And then if you turn around,
This is so convenient, but I feel like because she lives in a, I mean, I don't know if it's like a condominium building, an apartment building, right? It looks more like a house, but it's like I don't know. Is this like shared space? Like people can just go from whatever place and then just dump here their trash. Because she lives in a house. This is really interesting. Like if you live in a house here in Italy, you won't definitely get something like this. What we do, especially in my city, there are days where you just put because I live in a house that has four families, four apartment buildings within this house. And in this area, we always have to even people living in their own house, you just leave outside the trash the day that you know that they're gonna come and pick it up. So what you do is basically that. Yeah, like if you have the paper or the plastic to throw it, you just leave it outside on the sidewalk, and then very early in the morning they will come and pick it up. But I remember when I used to live in an apartment, you always have this type of trash bins that you can just go whenever you want. Whenever you're full with the trash, you just go down, you lift it up and throw away the trash. It was way more convenient. It was way more convenient. But I guess they don't do that for everyone if you're not in an apartment building, because I mean, we live in Italy. It's not Finland. People might be pretty disgusting in here.
This is bio waste, which is organic waste or compost. This here is papers, like newspapers and soft papers. And then these two bins here are for cartons, so like boxes and stuff. This is for plastic packaging that's not PVC, I believe. So like caps and stuff will need to be thrown out, but you can recycle the bottom part. And also like food containers and plastic bags and stuff. And then over here we have metal and glass. This metal one is really full. People just throw anything that's metal in here, really, and the glass often gets shattered here in this bin. Most bottles and cans here do have a deposit, a cash deposit, in which you have to pay. So all grocery stores will have a recycling unit there in which you can return your bottles and get your cash back.
That is
They have
really
a sign
cool. I
here
love
that
that.
tells you in detail what can and can't be recycled in these bins.
Cool.
Within our housing complex, we also have a parking spot that's included, and each parking spot will also
Our
have something
housing
that looks like
complex.
this.
That's
So
how you
this
call
is
it.
parking space 9 and parking space 10. Alright, I'll just show you how that works. I'm not able to open up the box because it seems like they changed the keys. I have to ask my husband about that. But what happens is you have a little outlet here, and you can plug your fan
What?
in here. There's a little timer inside that box in which you can set to what time you want it to turn on. The max amount of time
This
you
is
can
so
turn on is for an hour.
cool.
So you kind of just want to time that for when you leave in the morning. So when it's snowing outside or there's ice on the car, you can turn this fan on an hour before you need it, and usually it will melt off the ice that's
What?
in the windshield.
Bro, this is so convenient. I still remember when I had to wake up very early to take my daughter to school. We would leave the house around 7:30, 7:35 in the winter. And of course, I mean, we don't really get too much snow in my area, but the wind shell, wind shell, the one of the car, I don't know how you call it. Wait, the window. Oh my god, I don't know how to call it. Anyways, the part in front of the. No, wait, let me search. I want to do stuff professionally. Come on. Okay. Windshield, right? Yeah, windshield. Okay, the windshield. Okay, windshield. Yeah, the windshield of the car. Yeah, it's all frozen. So you definitely need to turn on the air conditioning at the maximum. And it will take like, I don't know, maybe 5 to 6 minutes, probably even more. So what I do usually, I use the second key. I go downstairs while my daughter is getting ready because it takes a long time. And then maybe like 10 minutes before, I leave the car on, and then I just go up, wait for her, and then when we go down, it should be pretty much done. But it's very inconvenient. You have to leave the key in. Maybe sometimes someone will come out and complain because the car was a little bit noisy. Who cares? But still, come on. This one is way more convenient. This is a great invention. I love that. I mean, fortunately, I don't have to do that every day, but still, it will be very convenient.
All right, and then in terms of connecting the car to the electric box, you open it up here. Ours is here, and you just plug this in here, and then the other end will go into the box. In our row house community, we also have this drying rack out here. There are several of these across the property. Of course, nobody's using it now because it's been raining, but when the sun is out, you can dry your laundry out here, or preferably your larger items like sheets and bedding and stuff. Our housing complex has a no smoking rule, and they have a designated bench out here in which you can...
Ah, so this is Tupako inti Paika. Paika is place, so I guess it's the place where people can smoke.
Come and smoke, but you're not allowed to smoke in your backyard. You're not allowed to smoke in your row house. You have to sit out here and smoke. While we're here, let me show you some amenities here. In this bin here, there are rocks, pebbles. Whee! But yes, this is where you can take rocks and you can use a wheelbarrow to salt your walkway during the winter time when it snows. The housing company takes care of the main walking areas, but the walkway that leads up to our house, that's not covered by them, so we kind of have to do that ourselves. Let me open up this door because this might shock you, because it's shocking.
Wait, Ulko ilva line varasto. Okay, Ulko I know means outside, but everything else I have no idea.
Me. So I'm using the same key that I used to open our door. This is the universal key that I spoke about. Here's gardening equipment that you can use for free. You just have to make sure you return it. I think that's a pressure washer up there. And there's like hoses down here. There's grass trimmers. I think, is this an electric grass trimmer? Oh, I have to tell my husband about that. I don't think he knows about that. Is it a grass trimmer? I think it is. But yeah, like gardening shears and masks.
So cool.
Rakes. So we don't really have to purchase any of this stuff. We would just come in here and use it for free and return it while we're done. They also have like gardening gloves too. And then the smaller tools here that you can use for free. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's a chainsaw. Wow. They really have everything in here. All right, they also have these signs here. This is probably for the maintenance company. They have these stickers you can tape onto your mailbox if you don't want any advertising. There's 2 different ones. I have to ask my husband.
There's so many people doing that, but when the Indian guy comes, it's like, bro, do you really think that I speak your language? Fuck off, take this. Yeah, they don't give a fuck. You can put up this stuff. I mean, I don't know if there's Indian people or if there's even racist to say it, but I don't know. Usually it's Indian people that do this kind of job in Italy, so I'm not trying to be racist. They always just put everything down there. They don't give a fuck. They're like, bro, do you really think I speak your language? Come on, shut up and read the advertisements.
What it is, but I think one is like no magazines.
Oh, no ads, no free distribution.
Advertisements or something? I don't know, I forget. But you can choose to have both or one on your mailbox so that you don't get junk mail. All right, let me come around to the other side of the building because there's something else here that I want to show you. From what I learned from my comments in my last home tour video, thank you guys for letting me know because this is something new that I didn't know. All apartments and row houses and whatnot have to have a working bomb shelter, and this is what that is. But during times of peace, they utilize this space for something else, and we're going to go in and have a look.
I think I've seen it in the was it in the video by Johnny Harris that he showed that pretty much every building, every housing complex will have a bomb shelter bunker. Oh, we're going to go in. This is so cool.
Oh, and I forgot to show you this, but there's like grates here for the winter time. You can clean off your shoes. And then there's also this thing here. You can brush your shoes and get the dirt and mud and snow off and stuff. So let me use my same universal key to get into this room.
I mean, she's really lucky that she's married to a Finnish guy that probably explained everything to her, right? I mean, if I would go to Finland on my own, start living there, I wouldn't know half of the stuff that she knows. I need guidance. I need guidance for the moment that I would drive, that I will be going there for sure. I mean, I've watched many videos, but
there, this is the actual bomb shelter. You see, there's 2 doors here, and this one is very, very heavy. It's locked, you can't even close it. But it's a super heavy duty door here that you can close in times of emergency and if you ever need to use it. But right now, this is what we call our warm storage. So I'm using my universal key again. There are little cubicles set up in here for everybody to use. Every row house has a little space here And
I do
you
have
can store
one
whatever
too.
you want in here. We store our suitcases in here. It looks like
Yeah,
each
me
person
too.
has
Me too.
suitcases. So
Suitcases and the fan that is right there now because there are 22 degrees and I'm feeling already hot. So especially in this room with the computer, the lights, it gets really hot. In the other rooms, I don't need the fan, but here, yes. I always put my fan there in the winter. Because of course, come on, who use the fan in the winter? And the suitcases, yes. It's really convenient, I would say. Stuff that you use like once in a while. You even forget that you have one most of the times.
anything really that's not suitable for the cold storage, you would just bring in here. But yeah, this space will be utilized as an emergency bomb shelter if there's ever an emergency. Hopefully, we don't ever have to use that in that way. But these cages are built very fast. They're not very sturdy because they're meant to be taken down in a very short amount of time. Speaking of that universal key that I told you about, a lot of people will also pay to have these locks made compatible to your universal key so that you can just also open these locks too. But yes, this is a bomb shelter. And then to the left, there's something else I want to show you too. This room makes no sense to me either. Here's the light. This is a free washing machine. Why is it free? I have no idea. There's a little calendar here. You can book your time. Each household is permitted to use this washing machine up to 8.
Bro, there's probably like... No, wait, I mean, every day except the 29th of May, there's nobody using it. I mean, it's free. Why wouldn't you use it?
Hours per week. So here we have a little sink. We have a washing machine here. They say that you have to use like unscented detergent just in case there's people with allergies. So you have to make sure you use unscented. I've actually never used it before. They also say not to wash rugs in here because it could break the machine because it would get too heavy on one side. There's some free cleaning supplies up here because this room is not kept by the housing company. So we would just have to clean it ourselves. And then through this door here, this is the drying room. I don't think, there is a light here.
Oh!
So that's a heater that will blow out hot air and you can dry your sheets and stuff in here. And then there's a little switch here. I don't know how long it stays on for, but you would just close this door here and then turn on the knob so that your stuff can dry faster. Here's another outdoor drying rack. That thing flips down so that you can also hang rugs and stuff here to dry. And of course, we also have playgrounds here for kids. I'm gonna insert some video clips here of some playgrounds that are very common throughout different apartment complexes and buildings and stuff. Most apartment complexes will also have a flagpole because there are designated flag days here in Finland in which the flag must be raised. So that's also something very common here. Okay, so you might actually be wondering how much we pay for the row house.
Yes!
That we live in. Our living situation is a little bit particular because we live in something called a right of residence. And in Suomi or Finnish, it's called a...
Asumisoikeusasunto.
Wait, say it again.
And in Suomi or Finnish, it's called a...
Asumisoikeusasunto.
Asumisoikeusasunto.
Yeah, so how it works is that you pay a small fee to register and you would get a number. The earlier you apply, the lower the number will be. And whenever one of these right of residence properties come up, you can put in an application and the person with the lowest number will get first dibs on viewing the place. The number is only valid for 2 years, and in our case, we applied, would you say, a year and a half ago when we first arrived here.
So interesting.
So we've had the number for a while, and when a listing came up, we decided to put another application in, and we were the ones with the lowest number, so we were the first ones shown the place, and we liked it, and we ended up getting it. And it's funny how these things work because when a listing comes up, you don't really see what the inside of the house or apartment looks like. You only get a floor plan because they can't just go in and photograph the place with people's belongings inside. And when we view the place, the previous tenant actually showed it to us. So instead of like a real estate agent or somebody that did the showing, it was the person that lived there. So it was nice to chat with her.
Usually here in Italy, there will be both they will just tell you, you know, especially when you're like, when you break the contract figuratively, I mean, no, not figuratively, when you're just moving out, they will tell you, they will call you and ask you, the real estate agent, look, when are you available? Because I have to show your place to someone else. So they will tell you so you can prepare, you know, when they will come, you will clean, put away your belongings that you don't want other people to see. And yeah, it's gonna be like that. But it's gonna be a very short visit. So yeah, it's nice, I would say.
And we also asked her about the environment and also the neighborhood and stuff like that, so that was nice. That was a very long-winded answer to how much we pay. So before I get to that, there's also a down payment that you have to pay. The whole idea behind these type of housing is it's typically for people who can't really afford to purchase anything on their own, and in our case, since we had just moved from the US, we didn't have valid credit here, and both my husband and I are freelancers, or what they call entrepreneurs here in Finland, and so the bank probably would not have trusted us with a large loan, so we were not able to purchase anything.
Yeah, that is my same problem, you know. Playing poker or doing YouTube it's not really the best solution for buying a house
Of that size. That's how we ended up living in a right of residence apartment, or townhouse, row house, whatever you want to call it. So the down payment is about 15% the market value of what it would cost to purchase. Ours was $38,000, and we were actually able to get a $38,000 loan from the bank. Our interest rate, do you remember? All right, I'll have to look that up and put it on the screen for you. But that's our interest rate. It's rather low. And so we put the down payment in, and then when we decide to move out, we actually get that money back, plus some interest, right? It's not interest, it's like some index correction. Okay, so the answer that you've been looking for, we pay 1,380 something euros. I think the townhouse comes with like low band internet, right? Yeah, we don't have that because my husband works from home and he needs good internet. So we pay extra for internet. We pay, I don't know how much. Do you know how much we pay for internet? $35 per month? Oh, that's pretty good. The HOA, quote unquote HOA fee is included. And that's why we had to remove the cabinet in the bathroom and then also keep it because it's part of the housing corporation's cabinet and we can't really just throw it away or donate it. So technically it's not a rental property because they can't just kick us out. That's why it's called right of residence. You can live there for as long as you want unless,
I'm really curious. I mean, 1,004, that's a lot to me. But I don't know how much usually the apartments will cost or the houses will cost in Finland. I mean, that looks like it's worth it, I would say, if you can afford it, definitely. I paid 380, so it's like 3 times more than I pay, 3.5 times more than I pay. But I mean, it always depends. Of course, I live in a small city. If you move to an Italian city like Milan, with that amount of money, you probably get a really shitty apartment that there will be no space whatsoever. I don't know if they live in Helsinki, if they're in the capital, in the center, which area. So I'm not too sure, to be honest, but I don't know. I just want to know from you guys, what is the cost, if this is a good deal or not? What do you usually pay for rent and how big is your house? I'm really interested in this stuff, you never know. Maybe one day I will move to Finland.
You do something really bad and they kick you out, but that's very rare. So you can also transfer it to the next generation if you wanted to. But would you say that if we weren't living in one of these right of residence buildings for an apartment that size, that's the rent, 1,300?
No, it's more.
It's more? Oh.
It's more.
So when we first
wow.
applied, they checked our net worth and determined that we were eligible for this type of apartment. We have neighbors that have downsized from a single family home to a smaller place. And then when you're 55, they don't check your net worth. Can you just say it one more time because it's a long word and I want to learn it?
Asumisoikeusasunto.
Asumisoikeusasunto. It's really tough.
Why are the words here so
If it wasn't written there, I wouldn't be able to pronounce it either.
dang long?
Compound word.
It's a compound word, okay.
I mean, great video as usual. Come on, let's see. Let me just leave a comment. Great video as usual. Kiitos for showing us how people, let's just say how people in Finland live. I envy you. Ciao from Italy. No, not this face. Okay, let's just whatever. Such a shitty comment, but yeah. Just helping the video to get views. I mean, come on, let's help them with the algorithm. Yeah, you gotta look out for other people. I mean, they make great videos actually. Wow. I want to see actually the video where they decide to go back to Europe, why they leave the US, what they were hoping to find in Finland and all that. Wow, that was a really cool video. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, let me know down in the comments your thoughts on the video we just watched. I hope I taught you a little bit also about life in Italy. I probably made you think, oh my God, Finland is so much better. Why? Why would people want to live in Italy? Okay, but jokes aside, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for all the support. The video lasted 55 minutes. What the hell? I just realized it right now. I've been talking way too much. So yeah, thank you so much. If you're still watching this right now, you're a legend. See you soon.